In this video, I will show you how to put together the Rainbow I Love You card from Simply Crafty SVGs. So these are the cards. This is the card that we're going to put together in this video. So you can see that they are two different looks completely. So let me just go back and forth there. So let's focus on this one. So it does fold flat to place into an envelope. An A7 envelope will fit in, which is typically for a 5x7 card, but this will fit just fine. I don't like to specialized envelopes if I don't have to, because they're readily available. And the other thing that the file comes with is this file in layered format in the extra stuff folder. So for printing cut, if you wanted different colors for printing cut. And the same thing, this is a straight version. That's my original version, but I decided to put some waves. But since I did it already, I just included it as an extra in the extra stuff folder. So if you prefer just a straight line version, that's in there as well. And the correct size is just a bigger size. So let's get started. So this is the card we're going to make. This is what I would thought of when I originally thought of it. It's a box card, and you see it's cut out in the back right there, and says I love you, and then it can flatten to place into an envelope. And then the back, when it's open, it also has a little thing, so you could put a little message right here. So when you flatten it, you can you could do it before you put it on there, before you actually put the insert in. But it'll go ahead and flatten. So this is what I thought of, like the traditional rainbow colors, but the one I'm going to do in the video, I have some yellow highlights, and it's going to be a little bit more of a pastel feel. So let's go ahead and move on. So here we have the different pieces. That'll be later. We have these, which we'll piece together the heart on this, and I'll tell you why we would do that rather than doing it on this. This will be for the back, that's front, so I'll show you all that. And these are the inserts and the card pieces. So we can just start by putting these little border pieces. So I just found a cute little pattern paper. I had little pieces of pattern paper that looked fun, and they have different colors kind of in it, so I thought it'd go great with this card. And actually, this card, I thought about it after the fact, it would look fun with a solid color, a different color than white. I kind of chose white, but I don't know, I think it could be mixed up a lot. So before we do anything, I'm going to actually add a couple of the components here before we put it together. So we're going to go ahead and add these panels, this, just center it, and then this one. Just make sure you get it centered. I'm going to clean that glue up in a second. So I have a little wet towel on the side, usually for my fingers or to clean up any edges, leaks, but it also comes in handy for that kind of thing. So it's just easier to put these on when they're flat. And I can't tell you where I got this paper from, so I can't supply that. It was just from a friend that had a little bit of a extra paper that I actually found some cute ones. And we have that. So the other thing, I already folded all these this way, but there's also a score there. So I'm going to fold it that way, but I really want to fold it out. So that one's just going to be a little heart there, and the same thing here. So let's go ahead and add that. So we're going to want to add it on this side. So we'll go ahead, because it's going to fold like this, so we'll put them like this. And I have everything in this little bowl here. Taking out the heart pieces. Okay, so here are the hearts that go on that. But I mean, you don't really need to use them, but let me go ahead and get rid of this. So I store them in that little bowl so I don't lose them before I work on the project. So I put all that there. So let's get them in the right place. So that's going to go over here. Now I put this one, I added this extra panel because it's textured. Since I have textured paper on the other side, since it's textured right here, I wanted it to give the look, but since it's attached, of course, the texture's right there. So I'm going to add that there. And the other side right there. Okay, make sure you have it situated properly because I had it this way. So you always want to see the inside of the card when you're putting these on. So I already put the white one on, so I'll put this other one. Then I'll put the other side. So just line it up carefully. Gives it a little bit of a layered look there. Then I can adjust it a little bit, get it in place. I'm going to flip it over in a minute and you'll see that it'll match better on the front if you're using textured paper. So I do use American Craft's 80-pound textured cardstock. I usually have information below in the notes of the product description. So you see when it folds over, it's going to look like that. So it gives it kind of a look and feel with the texture there that we're using on the outside. So it just helps pull it together. So now we're going to go ahead, let's put this aside. And we'll get the pieces for the heart. So we want that piece. And then all these little squiggly things, which are the pieces for the colors. I got 6 of them, so we have all the right ones. So typically the rainbow, I'm just flipping them all. First of all, let me get all the textures up. Typically a rainbow is going to be red. Start with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So however you want to do it. You can always do different shades of one color. Like let's say you want to make it more traditional of a Valentine's Day. You could always make shades of pink going across. Would be cute. But it's up to you. There's a lot of things that you can change on this design. So this is pretty much exactly, so in the file the colors match up to what you're seeing, mostly here, but you can change them up. So what I changed up was the purple was the background. As you see, I didn't use purple as the background, I used the yellow for this one because I wanted to tie it into the panels. And then that's the same thing with the I love you. I use the same yellow, and it's really sunflower, for that to tie it into the color on the front and the back. So really you can change it up. You just have to know how to use your software to do that. And the reason why we're going to do this first, you could do it directly on here, but it's going to be easier for us to line it up on this independent one. So we're going to start with the pink, which represents the red. And you can see the flat part on the bottom there. It lines up right here. This part right here. So that's how it's gonna look. So the first part, the first piece is the most critical piece. So we're gonna go ahead just lightly. I'm using art glitter glue. I'm just gonna line it up. I'm just gonna lightly. So it's right around the edge and it's lined up down there. So if you just pay attention to get this first one, the rest should line up fairly well. If it's a little bit off, it's not a huge deal. So you can see this next piece, you can dry fit it. It's going to fit like that. So we're just going to keep on going. So you'll see how I match these up. So just be careful and deliberate. You could put glue on the actual heart instead of the piece. That's up to you. So with this green piece, it's a little bit different. When you get to this one, match it up like you normally would. Line it up. And make sure that I'm just kind of pushing over here. It should line up exactly right here. It's just a little puzzle. Okay, now that we've got that last piece on, as you can see, the effect is kind of fun. It just fits right on there, and you see I don't have a lot of overlap here, which is good. So this will go, we're going to put a border on it, but this is going to go like, like that. So if you want to do a little something on the back, and I'll show you, you can always write on the back right there. That's the back of that heart. So let's go ahead and add this. So this goes around the edge. So this is a little bit tricky getting this on. I didn't want to make it any thicker because we wanted to be able to see all the colors. And if I made it a little thicker, the purple would have disappeared a little bit. Because of the shape of the heart, it wasn't real. I had to work to make sure that we saw all the colors usually. Okay, so what I would do, you can start and just lightly line it up on the bottom. And kind of dropping it down lightly. Then I'm just moving it around. Since it's a little bit thinner, it's easy to move around. So you can kind of pull it out to match it around the edge. And then go ahead and apply pressure. If you wanted to, you could ink the edge if you didn't like the colors showing through. I think they're kind of fun, so just leave it that way. Let's go ahead and place it on the insert. So it'll be easier to add this wall before the insert's put in. Just line it up to the heart shape there. And that is ink on my finger, by the way, if you keep on seeing. I had some pink ink that I couldn't wash off. It's the life of a crafter. You might have seen a little bit of a piece of glitter too. Kind of showed up. So that's that part. Then I'm going to flip it over and put this on the back end, so when you're looking from the back, that heart showing through has a little bit of a border. It's just an extra thing, not really necessary, but I kind of put that hole in there for a couple effects. But since you can see on the other side, I thought, well, you could always do another heart too, and put a pattern paper if that's something you wanted to do instead of writing on it. I just thought it would be a good place to potentially write a little message instead of having it like a square or kind of something on the back. So just the same thing, try to get it around the edges, and it moves a little bit. Line it up. Then at this point you could write on it, love, just your name if you don't want to do a whole big message to the person that you're going to give this to. If it's you, obviously, you could make it and sell the card. That's something you can do. And while we're piecing, let's go ahead and just get this put together, and then we'll put together the card. So this is just the I love you. Driving myself crazy with that thing. Panel in the front. Just be careful in the openings again. I always say that so you don't have the glue coming through when you put this on. Just kind of carefully place it down, and then I'm just going to make sure it's lined up. And that'll go on the front of the card once we get it together. So we'll put that up there. And this will go last, so I'm going to put that away up there. So let's go ahead and work on the actual card, putting that together. So we're not going to put that big panel in the back until we connect these, because we want to make sure that we'll be putting this tab gluing on the inside. So it's going to go like this. So we don't want that showing, so we'll cover that with that big panel. Did I miss a word? So we'll cover that big area with the tab will be covered with the big panel. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to attach one tab to start. Really doesn't matter which side, but we're going to choose this side. I'm going to line up this edge to the tab fold, slightly to the right. Right up to it, and then make sure it's lined up on the bottom. So that's what this is going to cover. So we would normally just close it that way, but we're going to add the inserts first. So we'll start from the furthest one. So this is going to be in front, so they're going to be like this. So that's how we're going to have these ones fold, the tabs fold up. Always fold them back first and then fold them up. And then the ones, and that's for spacing. So this one's going to go like this. And the other one will have the tabs fold back and be behind it. So let's do the back one first. So you'll see shortly what I'm doing. So here's this tab. So this tab right here, we're going to add glue, and it's folded back. I've add glue to it, and we're going to line it up towards the top. So you want that top, it's slightly angled, but we want it to be straight across right here. So I lined it up so the end is right to the left of the fold for the back, see? Like that. So what that's going to do is this. So you'll see it like that. So again, I know this is odd, but I'm going to put them both in this way. So we're doing the left side first. So we're going to glue this one forward. So we're going to glue this side. So they're folded forward. And we're going to line it up. Let me flip it around so you can see it from the correct angle. We're going to line this edge. You can go slightly to the right of it, or above it in this view. So we want to glue it right down there. It can be lined up pretty much with the bottom. So you see how the bottom's lined up there. So let me show you. So I'm pulling this up so you can see where the fold is. I'm gonna line it up there. And then I'm just putting it down so I can adjust. I just want to make sure it's lined up with the bottom of the card. And that gives the distance between the two. So again, this is where we're at. This is like this. So I'm pulling it up like it's together. And then this will be back here. Now, for those that do box cards all the time, this is probably a no-brainer. I'm just going slow, just in case. I never know whether I'm going to have a new person. And then I'm just kind of folding it over to make sure I apply pressure on those tabs. So the left tab is glued. So the only thing we have to do is to glue these last two tabs. So this is going to glue in the same place on the other side. what's kind of cool about this whole thing is if it's straight, we're just going to do that. So I'm just kind of going to, that's flat right there, and you see it's folded. There's the score right there. So we're going to go like that. And we're just going to fold it over. So it gets a little tricky on this last one, but that's the back one first. So you see it's already attached. But before you do the next one, just make sure everything's, you might want to give it a second to dry and adhere. And the second one's going to go underneath there. So see how that's folded? So I'm going to make sure that the fold's really, that's still drying. And it's going to go right underneath there. And it's just going to go like that. So we could do both at once, but I like to do them intentionally, one at a time. I'm not really pulling it up. So I'm going to be careful here. Add glue to the top of this. Carefully put it underneath that flap. Then I'm going to apply good pressure. And the nice part is we'll just go like this to close the box. But before we do, let's go ahead and see how it looks. So you can see it's coming together. So we're just going to go ahead and glue that last tab to close it up. So if you have other methods of putting together box cards, that's up to you. I like doing it this way, just a different way. I probably could have put them in a different order to make it a little easier. But it's easier than having to fiddle and put them in, once it's together, the actual box is together, the card. So now we have that. So we're going to go ahead and put this over here. So this is where it's going to sit. So it's a bit of a challenge getting it in there, but you kind of want to have the same space here and there. And then so we'll have a little edge at the bottom in the white part. I have a little notch on this one out, but it's not going to affect the card. So I'm just kind of sliding it in. Really the top and the sides are what I'm worried about, so I'm just kind of dropping it down. Okay, just want to make sure it's in the right place first. And you can see it's somewhat lined up on the bottom there, straight. Gotta move it down just a smidgen. That's why I didn't put a whole lot of glue on these little thin areas up here. It's because I didn't want it to bleed through if I had to move the card a little bit. You could try to go from the bottom too. So the card's pretty much done, except we need to add that front tag, but this is the way it's going to sit when it's out. Oops, let me get in view. This one's going to sit when it's out. So this is just I just wanted to make different colors than the other one. So let's go ahead and add a little foam square. Reach it. I'm just trying out these sticky thumb versions of the adhesive foam tabs from American Crafts. I've never used them before. They're convenient. I usually use Scotch foam and just cut it to size, which I still kind of like, but I got these on sale somewhere and I wanted to give them a try. So I'm just going to put that right here. You can put any sentiment you want. This is just the one that comes with it. Glue on my fingertips. Then I just want to, I added this little, painted this little heart, which I thought would be fun to put on. So let's go ahead, I'll just use some of these smaller versions of this and just pop one of these up. You don't have to do that. It's just, we have so many extras, when you cut this out and you get all these extra hearts, it's fun to use them for something different. So you can, I just painted mine a little bit. So let's go ahead, I'll just angle it just like the other one, or should I go like that? I'll go like that. Make it a little different. So here it is. It'll fit into a A7 envelope. We have a free A7 envelope on the website. And I'm going to add a little glitter glue too. I could have cut this out of glitter paper, but I decided I'm going to glitter the I love you up a little bit. And maybe that, but that's just an extra little embellishment once I get this done. So if you did like the project, please give me a little thumbs up or like below. And I don't have a matching envelope because you can use the standard A7, which again, it's in the free envelope set that we offer as a freebie that you can make. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would appreciate that as well. And I hope you like this project, and thanks for watching.